serious about if I speak seriously to you, what exactly I'm doing in the middle of all this, if you ask me. So this is my team, and they have some of their programming and code online, so anybody can reuse. Yeah. So in this, I have learned some of their programs, and I have actually participated in a few things, and I've become more comfortable with how things work. And for me, I wanted to do that optical image processing. They mostly use radar sat. I'm using optical image. Okay. So Sentinel is a European satellite that has up to 10-meter resolution. USA has Landsat, but they distribute only 30-meter resolution. Sentinel, you can get 10-meter if it's visual, and if you want shortwave infrared, which is very important for FireMapping, that would be 20-meter, which is even better than 30-meter, right? And it's not very frequent, but it's almost once in 2 days or something, because there are 3 satellites that can give you data: Sentinel 1A, 1B, 1C. Yeah, all 3 have these all same kind of spatial resolution and spectral resolution. So you can use the same code on any of these. Yeah. Right now, mostly I get S1B and S1C. Okay. So all the code I developed is here. The easiest one to start would be this example. Inside the example, I actually have the Jupyter code that I've written. You can pick up the latest one. I have some examples also in them. Yeah. So for this, you don't need to have any commercial software. This is completely open source programming. So you need to install Jupyter. You can do it with your PowerShell if it is Windows. Yeah. You create an environment and have Jupyter Lab as a requirement, and then open it, and then you have the code for you to run. Okay, if you know some bit of programming, you can just directly use it and see whether this works or not and how it works. Right now, my program can create what the Canadian Forest Service needs, the NBR, from which you can calculate diff NBR. And then it's also having fire composites, because I'm more interested in shortwave infrared. Yeah, so that we have like another kind of fire composite somebody from Vancouver developed. So all of this is there. Okay, this is the primary focus that my team had. This was the work given, so this was easy to do. So after I did this, I was working on other projects for the emergency geomatics disaster management. They do fire programming also, but they do it with radar sat, which is very, very hard to visually see. I don't want to say anything more than that about that. So I continue with the optical. Right, so whatever I am learning on the side about AWS Lambda and AWS Lambda container, I'm actually having it inside here. So in fire operationalization, this was my own vision. This is my own dream of what resource is coming to my team, and it hasn't been used at all by the teams. Tremendously useful optical images, right? It's free. ESA is giving it, European Space Agency is giving it for free as a mirror site for entire Canada. So the entire Canada optical image is available right inside my team, but it's available for the public also for free. It's only a public link. Yeah. So I'm developing programming to analyze, and I put that also online. In here, you don't have to go into AWS if you don't want to do AWS. I have code for how to download zip files using a stack. I was working on OGC, and stack was becoming competitive. This is an OGC stack combined interface they have out there. So this download zip files uses that OGC stack and downloads for any particular lat long you want to search. Yeah, and then you can run the create fire map. So that is simply directly running in a PowerShell, yeah, using Python, or you can use in your Linux. You don't need Linux if you don't want it. Just use PowerShell and inside Windows. Yeah, just need Python in it. But what I really learned is Lambda. So this first level Lambda in AWS, this actually what it does is it has a trigger. So the moment a zip file lands in our Teams folder, it gets triggered and looks at one particular image band only, because it's a crucial image band, B12. It's a shortwave infrared. So shortwave infrared can capture fire and heat very well. So it captures it, and it stores that image alone if it finds any fire pixels, right? So it opens the whole zip file. It's a huge zip file, it's like 2 GB or something, and finds this one particular band and looks if that fire, then it stores only that band and deletes the zip file, so you don't have to store too much, right? You can decide later whether you want to process it. I also put a record in a CSV file, so I can in one shot see like which ones are the highest number of fire pixels and how many fire pixels are there. And you can back calculate. One fire pixel is like 10 meter by 10 meters, so 100 square meter. So if there is 100 pixel, are we coming near 1 hectare or something, right? But only if it is together. Many times what's happening is fire pixels are very scattered. So I've written another program, so which I had to make it into a container. So this is something I've been learning, completely new world, Docker and Rancher and all that. Using it for governance, right? Containerizing person and calling them Docker or Podman, yeah. Shorter person or the other person, and there is a rancher who manages them. That's how they do in governance. That is not my domain. My domain is programming. So in programming, what happens is we did not have GDAL in the AWS Lambda, so directly I couldn't run it. So I had to containerize it. So I containerize it using Docker. So even in the Docker, I have like 2 Docker files because the first one does all the requirements. It's a huge run. I don't have to repeat after that, right? So there's another Docker file for just adding just 2 Python programs, and it makes polygons. Okay? That's what I'm doing. If you're interested to look at it and work with it, yeah, you can even have a trial run from Amazon if you want to. That's what I'm going to try. Okay, hope you have a good day. Can always do interesting things for you, good things for the world. Yeah.